Hello, hi, good afternoon, everyone. I welcome to you to the Swami Vivekanand Institute, and I am your mentor for UGC NET English Literature. So, before starting, let me give you a small introduction of myself. That I am Priya Sharma, and I'm having experience of more than 3 years teaching NET and JRF, and many of our students got the flourishing results. And if you know, recently 2 days ago we got our results where was cut off of English literature was just raising the bar every year. This time it was between 180 to 200. For GRF, I guess for unreserved category it was around 208 to 210. So sometimes studying systematically becomes very important. Okay, we know that literature is something which is a study of mankind. Okay, you love when you are studying, you love when you are reading the novels, you like the dramas, you just flow down in the realm of the poetries. But when it comes to qualifying the exam like UGC NET, the proper and the systematic approach becomes quite important. You have to understand the pattern in which they are asking you the question, and the most important thing is about the syllabus. So you don't have to worry about any of these things, because in this short and crisp video I am going to tell all these things, that how you should approach UGC NET for English literature, what is the division of syllabus in which you should start your preparation, and in the end of the video do not miss the end part, because we are going to discuss about the types of question which are repeatedly asked in the paper. So I hope this video will be quite helpful and important for you. So let's dive into it without wasting our time. So the first thing, the agenda of this particular video is that, yes, of course, I have told you that I will tell you the proper division of the syllabus, which you can do with me here in the online and offline classes both. Next is the theory concept. Yes, this is particularly I have saved for the last units of UGC NET, which is basically the literary criticism and literary theory part. So just leave it for a bit minute, because it comes from the understanding level, and for now we just have to focus on the factual based, and then we will gradually get into the understanding level. Yeah, PYQs. See, one thing better you have to understand is that before stepping into the paper, you can never leave PYQs. It is the most important, I should say, that even in the last 1 month preparation, your studying strategy should be in this way, that you cover all the PYQs. It becomes the most important part of your preparation. And when you are taking a coaching with Swami Vivekanand Institute, and especially with me in my classes, what I usually do, what my teaching methodology is, that whenever I teach any kind of topic, for an example, if we are doing Geoffrey Chaucer and we are doing the Canterbury Tales, okay, so after discussing the Canterbury Tales in a detailed manner, on the same day, in the last 15 minutes of that lecture, I discuss the PYQs, especially from that topic. So what happens when we follow this methodology, that we cover our all PYQs all together. Okay, we cover our PYQs with the topic itself, and it helps us to practically test our knowledge as well, that whatever we have started till now, was it what enough, was I able to answer the questions correctly? So we will check the types of questions soon in the end, but this teaching methodology and this pattern of revising and starting from the student perspective is also quite helpful. Okay, let's move forward. Your last step is, of course, the practice. The more you practice, the more perfect you become. So let's move forward. Okay, yeah, again, initially when I started this video, I just gave you alarmed warning kind of thing, that this is the cutoff, and when we have the aim, the purpose in our head, we are more thoroughly preparing for it. So when we know that we have to reach to the level of 208 out of 300, we know how sincere we have to be in our preparation mode. So here it is written that the PYQ, the syllabus, and the conceptual knowledge, all these three things, the syllabus, the proper completion of the syllabus, then your PYQs, which will test your knowledge, and your concept, which will test your understanding level. When all these three things will come together, of course, none can stop you to achieve your aim. Okay, now let's move forward and understand the division of syllabus, also how we are going to cover the syllabus in our coaching. Okay, so one thing, Peter, when you analyze the paper, okay, when you analyze the so many previous year question papers, and when you are engaged already in teaching and mentoring the UGC NET students from so long, okay, you already know the pattern. Okay, and what I have observed is that 80% of the questions are straightforwardly from the British literature. Okay, whenever you will just pick out any PYQ, any previous year paper, you will see that 80% of the questions are always from British literature. Okay, now in British literature itself is so vast that it takes so much of time to complete all of the ages. Okay, it becomes so hectic when you study the topics, like when you study the prominent writers like William Shakespeare, Ben Jonson, John Dryden, T.S. Eliot in the modern century, so many vast and prominent writers, and you are so shattered at one point of time that how I have to approach these particular famous prominent writers. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay, because when I will be teaching you, I will be taking these prominent authors in a detailed manner. Okay, we will start our British literature from the zero level. We will start the British literature from the old English. Okay, we will start with that how actually English language was begin, and how it started, and how it is mixture of other languages as well, that how there is a French influence on the English language, and how it with the time kept on evolving. Okay, so we will see each and every part of British literature from old English to the postmodern century, and this takes 80% of the time, and this also covers our 80% of the syllabus, which is the most crucial part of UGC NET journey. Okay, then next point is, of course, when I was telling you in the agenda part that the conceptual questions, by the conceptual questions, but I mean that the 10 marks part is the comprehension, and that comprehension basically comes from two things. Either the 5 marks question will be from the poetry section, or the 5 marks question will be from the literary theory or the criticism section. Okay, they will give you any of the paragraph, and they will be checking your understanding level of that theory. So for that, if you have already done or read or understood few of the theories in advance, it will make easier to do that comprehension in a very quicker way. It is not random that it came from anywhere. In literary theory, but there are almost 10 to 12 theories like new historicism, new criticism, formalism, structuralism, post-structuralism, and there are so many reader response theory. In such way, there are so many theories which we have to cover. Okay, and every theory has something, a new concept, which actually helps us as a literature student also, that how we can read a text in a very different way. So after doing the theory and the criticism part, it becomes like it makes a literature student complete. So that's why every time NET keeps a few portion, a 20% or a 10% portion for criticism and theory part. Now the last thing which I have written is about cultural studies and the new emerging areas. Now see, literature is something which is not stagnant. Okay, it is evolving at every point. We never know that in the different corner of the world who is writing what. Nowadays, that social writing is also emerging a lot. People are writing on the social media. Right now, you are watching my video on the social media and you will be writing your feedback in the comment section. And gradually, this theory is evolving these days that it will give a name of social media theory. Okay, we never know when this literature theory comes in our syllabus as well after 5-6 years. Okay, so there are few emerging areas which are unstoppable and the questions are very unpredictable. We never know when they can ask a question from food studies. Okay, nowadays they are asking many questions from the cultural studies as well. So for this last 10% and the unpredictable part which I am saying, I will be teaching you few strategies and I will be telling you few techniques that how you can deal with this unexplored part as well. In the end of our coaching, when we are about to complete our syllabus, when we are done with the criticism and theory, when we are done with the PYQs, we start exploring the unexplored part as well. Okay, so don't worry, just let's move forward. And yeah, now I'm going to just discuss that how we are going to cover British literature. Basically, beta, I have told you that British literature is quite a vast part. Okay, and sometimes to my previous students, I always kept on mentioning that UGC NET English is like an ocean. Okay, there is so much to study, but all we have to prepare a droplet in a very perfect manner. Okay, so it's like that you can never complete the syllabus. Okay, because it's too much, it's too wide, it becomes very difficult to do each and everything. It becomes very difficult to study each and every chunk and piece of writing from the writers. So it's very important that we should know what to study and what not to study. Okay, you cannot waste your months, your energy, your hard work, your patience, your perseverance in just doing unnecessary things. Okay, so it's better that we approach the British literature in a very systematic way. Okay, so the first thing is old, middle, and age of revival. As I told you just 5 minutes before, that we will start British literature by the Old English, and then we will go to the last century, that is post-modern century. Okay, in Elizabethan age, we have authors like Christopher Marlowe and William Shakespeare, and the drama of William Shakespeare are quite important. We cannot leave any one of them. Then in the Jacobean age, we meet the Ben Jonson, the jolliest I should say in the English literature. Then the Civil War and the Restoration age, the turmoil which was happening because of Oliver Cromwell at that time. And John Milton wrote the masterpiece like Paradise Lost and Hidden. So these details, these small details will help you to qualify the NET paper. Just not studying the things from the surface levels are not going to help. You should know the biographical facts as well. You should know the few minor details as well. They are not always asking the major things. Okay. Next, in the Enlightenment age, Romantic age, there are the authors like William Wordsworth, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, and every year we see that how many times that has repeatedly asked the works written by Wordsworth and the Coleridge, how they are repeatedly asking the poems written by them. So you should know their names by heart, that okay, these are the poetries like Daffodils and the preface of lyrical ballads. All these things are written by Wordsworth, and the poems like Kubla Khan and other things are written by Coleridge, Biographia Literaria. So you should know this division of work very vividly in your head. Only that will help. Now the next is Victorian age. Victorian is a kind of thing where the scientific age took like scientific not scientific exploration word I can use, that it was at peak during the Victorian age. The companies like Pepsi and the train system and so many things were quite flourishing at that time. And how these things will help you, that because the scenario in which a writer is writing, the background, the political, the economical, the social, all these three things somewhere influence the writer. Okay, whatever piece of writing he is making, better you should understand that in what circumstances he is writing. So in Victorian age we will see that how the circumstances quite influence the writers, and we are able to depict the society in a very beautiful way in Victorian age, like the work like Jane Eyre's work and many beautiful works we are going to see in the Victorian age as well. Now modern and postmodern is something like, postmodern is not that broad because it is still happening, and we will meet the writers like Virginia Woolf, okay, T.S. Eliot, and in the postmodern there are writers like Seamus Heaney, the poets like Seamus Heaney, I should say. He is a very wonderful Nobel Prize winner author, and he wrote about the Irish poetries, the Celtic poetries most of the time. So we should know on the tips that which writer is writing what, which writer has taste of writing piece in which style. So everything becomes important, and holistically all the literature, all the syllabus become complete, I should say. So we should approach the NET paper in a very concrete manner, that every part becomes so important that it becomes the whole portion. Okay, and the last 2 units with the criticism and theory, I just mentioned 5 minutes before that there are numerous literary theories, and we have to read it in a very quite profound way because it will help you to grow your understanding level. Okay, like formalism, structuralism, you don't have to worry that, oh god, the syllabus is too much. But when you learn in a very fun manner, when you have the factual data with you, when you know that yes, I have to invest in this portion, I don't have to invest in that portion, all of these things becomes very easy. And with the consistency, with the pattern in your head, you can easily go to your goal. Okay, now the last portion which I have told you, that stay with me till the end of the video, because we are going to discuss the types of question, the frequent types of question which NET is asking every year. So these are the 4-5 types of questions which I see every year in the paper. The first are direct and factual, as you know, because in the British literature and even in our whole literature, there is so much of factual data, that which writer wrote which book. Okay, so these questions are very direct, that if you have read, if you have studied somewhere, you know the answer, otherwise you don't know. So it becomes very important to revive your data again and again. Okay, and in the classes I will keep discussing some visualizing and other tricks as well, which will help you to recall the data. The next and the most famous, I should say, type of questions are chronological. Okay, no subject paper can be expelled from these type of questions, which are chronological questions. Okay, in chronological, either you can see the works, that 4 works will be written and you have to arrange that chronologically, and sometimes they can directly put the names of the writers as well, that you have to tell from which age they belong. He can write Chaucer is there, Eliot is there, though they don't ask this simply, they will ask you the minor authors for these types of questions. But you should know that the chronological way, that which era is coming before, which author is coming before. Now next is comprehension based. This is also I have already explained you in the 10%, that from theory part or any drama, poetry, you can see in the comprehension. questions. Now, statement and assertion, even in paper 1, the students who are already preparing for UGC NET, they must be aware about the paper 1 format as well. In paper 1, we witness a lot of questions in the statements and assertion format. So these kind of questions are also asked in paper 2 as well, that they can write anything, any statement about any of the theory, and then an assertion statement, and the 4 options, that is it supporting this statement or not, in that way. And the last is also the understanding theory based, which I have just told you that this portion is also from the theory and criticism part. So I hope this is clear. Whatever I have told you, the pattern, the division, the cutoff, everything must be clear to you, and I hope it will help. It will definitely help you guys to start again, restart your preparation if by chance you have missed this chance, and do not stop. It's something, nothing like impossible, and you can achieve it if you are perfectly following the syllabus, you are systematically and with the discipline and perseverance, if you are studying every day and you are recalling what you have studied, so you will definitely qualify the UGC NET. And join with us, join to our course, come and join Swami Vivekanand Institute, study with me, and you will definitely follow. So happy learning. Thank you so much. This side Priya Sharma.